Welcome, everybody, to this month's expert interview. We have the one, the only, the best hat in San Antonio, Scott Malouff, joining us today to be talking about how we bring our teams together collectively. And we're going to look at two really unique versions of that. One, we're going to look at what I call a really great retention tool that also creates opportunity through teams within a team and pods. And then on the flip side of it, we're going to look at culturally how he makes his team really sticky, and how he makes it somewhere that people want to be and creates a community and a culture that thrives within it. So we're not talking just production, we're talking the culture side of things too. So Scott, thank you for being here. We're happy to have you this afternoon.
Thank you for having me, Liz. Excited to be on.
All right. So for everybody, tell us a little bit about you, your business, how long you've been in real estate, the size of your business, the size of your team, so they have some perspective as we're going through this conversation today, if you could.
So my name is Scott Malouff. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. So looking forward to seeing a lot of y'all at Mega Camp if y'all come out. I've been in the business now for 10 years. So I started as an individual agent. Second year is when we started our team, our organization, and we built it from there. First year, closed 85 transactions as an individual agent. After that, started the team, grew it to where now for the last 5 years, we average between 400 and 600 transactions.
So not a small amount of transactions. I think that's important for everybody to hear, right? The reason I say that is not just hey, look at all the big production I do, right? It is you are still able to maintain a really tight-knit team with very low turnover and a great culture through these things that you do. So let's start on the production side first. Team within a team. We've seen a lot of folks try to master this model. We've seen a lot of it flop. We've seen a lot of what I like to call mutiny, where someone has started the team within the team and then just kind of departs entirely and decimates the hub team on it. And right, they never saw it coming, or it's just really hard culturally. But you've managed to avoid pretty much all of these problems. So let's just start at the beginning. When did you start building that? Why did you start doing it? And what's the evolution of it look like to get to this point?
Yeah, it was around year 3, maybe the end of year 3 when I had a team in the business. So there was about 6 agents on my team, and we kept talking about, okay, we're going to expand. We're going to expand. We're looking at Austin. We started looking at Houston, and we kept taking ESO, Expansion Systems Operation class. And when we kept taking it, I was like, why do we have to expand to do this model? Why can't we just have a team inside of our team and build it like that and just use the same exact org chart and everything that they have on this inside of our organization? And that's when we built it out. And one of the reasons why is because we kept looking at why do people leave teams? And a lot of people, when they would leave teams, is to start your own team. So if we're like, we could build a platform inside of our organization where people can plug and play, where we have the leverage for them, we have the tools to be able to help train them and get them right, and they can stay part of our team. Why would they leave in the first place if they can start their own team side of the team? So that's when we started doing it. It was, again, 3rd year in the business. How it worked was they got 5% rev share of the agents underneath them, how it still works. And they have to earn the right to be able to do that. And being able to earn the right means they have to do an annual of $4 million in annual production. They have to do a weekly meeting with their downline. They have to do 15 protocol with their downline. They have to show up the 411s that are inside of the office every Monday, at least 80% of the time per quarter. They have to show up to the office a minimum of 3 days a week, as long as in town. And they have to show up to coaching. So they're in group coaching, and they have to show up to coaching at least 80% of the time per quarter as well.
I love that. So you've created it, and really 4 million, while a decent amount of volume, is nothing crazy, right? We're not looking at, you got to be doing 70 transactions here to do this. 4 million in your markets, how many transactions roughly?
It's around 15 transactions.
Okay. So that's a healthy, attainable amount of transactions. So it's setting the bar where if somebody wants to do this and doesn't just want to be the production hound, but actually wants to begin to lead and create this production underneath them and to do those things that a leader does, it's a pretty decent barrier of entry, right? Like, so 1, production minimum, 2, must take career visioning. 3, must adhere to certain standards like showing up in the office 3 days a week, which also helps lead into your culture, doing 411s and 15th protocol for accountability, and be engaged in coaching. You're not asking anything crazy there, in my opinion, right?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, it helps the culture, like exactly what you said, because the more people are talking to each other, the more they're knowing about each other, the more they're knowing where the agents underneath them, what's stopping them from hitting their goals. In return, it helps them kind of know what to stopping them from reaching their goals as well. Because the best way to master something is to teach it. And when you're teaching something to somebody else, you're like, hey, you're gonna go out, you're gonna do this on social media, or you're gonna do, and in return, you're like, am I doing that in my business? Am I doing that in my weekly routine? So then you start to do that as well because, to be able to lead from the front.
It's a version of self-accountability, really. It's how am I going to hold these people accountable and tell them to do things if I'm not doing it myself, and kind of walking the walk, right? Self-leadership, all leadership starts with self-leadership, and it's a great way to recruit and retain. What have been your big learning lessons through this process as you've created these pods and these teams within a team, and you've had agents step up into leadership roles? What have you learned during that process?
I've learned everybody's at a different place when it comes to leadership and how they look at people and how they feel about people. The way people love on people is not always the same, and everyone's emotional intelligence is not the same as well. So some people need to go through more emotional intelligence classes to be able to help them get into that place of leadership. Some people need to just have more one-on-ones with myself or somebody else in the organization just to know what it's like to be on the other side of them. Because sometimes people don't know how they talk or how they come off. And being able to help them self-discover that is key.
That's one of the things that I think a lot of people who have looked at a model like this, they're concerned of, well, that person's not a great leader, right? Like that person's good at production, and yes, they want to start a team, but I'm scared to put them in there because they don't know how to lead yet. Have you held anybody back from taking that leap once they meet the production minimum? Or do you just look at it and say, you can do this, but here's what you also need to do in conjunction with this based on where your current skill set is? What's that look like?
So when I talked to Jordan about one of the things that we were doing with our team, it was, what does your team want to be known as? And we are a leadership development organization disguised as a real estate team. So what is leadership development, or like, what does that look like? And it's putting them through certain courses, putting them through certain classes, putting them through career visioning, like you said, taking them to family reunion, taking them to mega camp, having them in rooms where they are able to learn and understand what it looks like to be a true leader and have a servant heart. And know it's, when you start a team, it's no longer about you, it's about them. And knowing what's important to them to be able to help them achieve their goals, and knowing their goals too. And know the gap on that journey to be able to reach their goals and their joy. Like, what does joy look like to them? Like, what does fulfillment look like to each one of your people inside of your organization? Because everyone is different. Everyone has different fingerprints. Everyone has different things that's going to wake them up every day that says, okay, let's go, let's grow. And if you don't know what helps make this person tick or make this person tick, you're going to be leading in the wrong direction if you think everyone's just focused on one thing, when this person can be completely different on what brings them happiness. So helping them just achieve that on their journey with your team.
So as somebody, like, let's say I joined your team today, right? I moved to San Antonio. I call you up and I say, Scott, I want to sell some real estate. Let's go. What is my journey as a brand new agent, or even an experienced agent, but new into your team? What does my journey look like inside of your business?
So we do agent launch. We put you through 30, 60, 90. We have a training for Malouff University, which has about 50 different videos that you watch to be able to help you grow inside of your business. We put you through, if you're not with KW already, we put you through Ignite. We put you through Bold. So we have a contract. Once you've done 4 deals on the team, and you've earned the right for us to pay for Bold. And then when you take Bold, we have a contract with you as well that you have to hit certain metrics, or you have to pay half of it back. And then if you don't graduate, you have to pay the full amount of Bold back. We put you.
Yeah, I want to pause you there, right? You notice what Scott said. You come in, you go through a launch. They've got digital tools that help supplement some of that training to build the business. And then once they've done 4 deals, that person has then earned the right for the team to pay for them to go to Bold. Part of your value web of keeping them engaged in the business. You're paying for it, and it helps them and it helps you, right? Like that's big value that the team pays and provides there. That's huge.
And then we have them in group coaching with the productivity coaching side of the market center. Now, once they hit 2 million in annual production, they graduate from productivity coach to the next level. There we go over business life by design worksheet. We if their goal, again, they're at 4 million now. Their goal is to start a team inside of a team. You put them through career visioning. Then they can start a team inside of a team where they become a mentor and they get 5% of the agents underneath you. We pay for family reunion hotel and we pay for mega camp hotel. We pay for the team trip. So once a year, we go on a team trip. Agents at this level will earn the right to be able to go. And on the team trip, this is just somewhere different. It's not work. It's a different environment where it's a change of scenery and we're able to just know each other on a different level and be more of the family that we are. Because a lot of the agents inside of our team is more their family than their personal family. And, we're there to just help them grow. And that's the good thing, I think, when you're starting an organization, it's knowing when people are down and helping them up. Because we never look down on somebody unless we're helping them up. And that's our goal as far as leaders, teaching other people to do that inside of our team. That helps everybody just, have that servant heart for others. And then in there, we have an improving agent coaching with MAPS. The next tier is we pay for 50% of your 10 million in production. We'll pay for 50% of your MAPS one-on-one coach. We pay for 50% of your virtual assistant. The next tier after that is 75 units, 14 million in production. At this level, we'll fully pay for your MAPS one-on-one coach. We'll fully pay for your virtual assistant. And you get 3% profit share in MIG Arms. And MIG Arms are our ancillary businesses that we own. And then tier 5 is at that level, it's 100 units, 20 million in production. At this level, we'll fully pay for 2 virtual assistants and you get 5% profit share in MIG Arms, which is our ancillary businesses.
So I want to go over what Scott just said. Like, obviously he said a lot of things, right? But you'll notice that it went up in tiers. The more production they did, the more value he was bringing to match it, because he wants to retain these people in his business and he wants to help them reach their goals to do more business. This is a value web, right? Like that's a pay structure and a value web. And we're literally 15 days from today, May 15th. If you guys are not registered yet who are attending here, Angela will drop a link for you. We're hosting a pay structure and value web workshop where we actually talk about the exact way to construct a model like what Scott's talking about that actually works specifically for you and what your goals are through that. But I love how articulate you are on that, Scott. Like, you're clear on this is what it looks like to succeed in my business and for us to provide you more value. And I think that's awesome. So let's look at the pods again. So you've got currently 6 pods in your business?
Right.
You've got 6 pods in your business. On average, how much production is each one of those pods doing?
The top one, they did 24 million inside of their pod. They have some newer agents, some higher level agents.
Okay, perfect. Love it. Have you had any pitfalls with it? Is there anywhere you look back and go, oh yeah, I didn't really structure that one right in the beginning or when we launched this, and I'm going to do the next ones differently? There was any pitfalls?
Yeah, I was bringing on a team from another brokerage. I won't say the brokerage, but we brought on a team from another brokerage, and I was focused more on the team's production than the culture fit and where they came from, because the way they came from was more of a recruiting, and we're not like that. We run everything through career visioning. We have the 5 interviews before we even bring somebody on, so we're very selective on who we bring on. And the way that they wanted to run it was like, well, we just want to, this person be a good fit for the team. We bring them on, and it's just like, that's not how we do things here. Everybody, even inside of a team, still goes through the same interview. We still do group interviews. We still do everything that we do on doesn't matter where you're at. If you're a showing specialist or what you are, everybody goes through the same interview process. And this agent, because of where they came from and because of the level of their team, they didn't appreciate the time we took to be able to do that. So it just was a bad hire on my end, and I probably didn't do a good enough job during the interview process on letting that person know this is the standards and the expectations we have. So it falls on me.
Yeah, and this happens to a lot of rainmakers, right? We see a big production, we see a big opportunity, and we want it, so we kind of turn that blind eye. But other than that pitfall, you don't really have significant turnover, do you?
No, out of our team, more than 50% of our team has been on the team for 5 years or longer.
That's a long time. And I don't think there's a lot of folks out there that can say that about their sales team. And you've got 30 people on your team nearly at this point.
Right.
And 50% of them have been on for more than 5 years. Like that's substantial. And this is just proof that it's not just, and you're very productive. It's not just about Scott's so awesome. Scott has created an environment that is so awesome because people can not only succeed, they can get their cultural fix there too. So now let's look at the flip side of the coin, right? So we talked about the productive, the team. Let's look at the cultural side of it. You, similar to a market center with ALC, have certain categories and chairs and co-chairs where people will lead things that are important and near and dear to your team and to them personally. Tell us a little bit about what that looks like and where that started and why it came about.
Yeah, so we were looking at with Jordan again. I was looking at Jordan with Jordan. We're like, okay.
He's referring to Jordan Freed, for those of you that don't know. The wonderful coach, Jordan Freed, has worked with Scott for quite a long time at this point, I think.
Right. We've been together for almost 6.5 years. So when we were looking at, our business and what we were looking to mimic and duplicate, our goal was to mimic a mega church, and how mega churches thrive are through their small groups and through the communities. So we created chairs and co-chairs for career development, events, faith, team growth, philanthropy, social, tech, and wellness. So like this morning, the girls on our team, they had a team Bible study. And then for philanthropy on May 10th, we have a single mothers brunch that we're doing in an Italian restaurant. And we have 50 single moms that have been nominated that we're giving back with them and their kids. So there's different things we do with the team that is not just focused on business. We're focused on every part of life and being able to help fill their cup where they know it's not just about, okay, what are the numbers at? What are we doing in production? It's like, okay, hey, we're going to get back to this month. Or, hey, how's your wellness looking like? What does your mental health look like? Like knowing that, understanding that, and then pouring into that and giving them the options and the resources to be able to accomplish that. And that's one thing that I believe helps keep people here because they know it's bigger than business with us. And they feel the fuel, like they feel the energy of how those things help them feel like at the end of the day. Like even
I think that's so important and it's so cool, right? Because some people want to contribute more than just their own little square of here's my production, right? But they don't necessarily want to be a pod leader. They might not want to be learning career visioning and in charge of other people, right? And doing 411s, but they still want to lead and give back in some capacity. And I think it's awesome that this allows a total flip side of a coin for people to still find that fulfillment in things. It doesn't necessarily have to be a pod leader. It creates two avenues for people to find that leadership fulfillment.
Very true. Because when you're a pod leader, you have to show up as a leader every day for those people. And with this, okay, you might have an event coming up. After that event, you can take the gas off a little bit and just, okay, I'm going to focus on my production. I'm going to, focus on my clients, my customers. Like you can focus, your focus can be shifted a little bit, yet you still feel the culture of the organization and it still bleeds through you each and every day.
Well, and you said you have what, was it 6 or 7 categories on there that you have chairs and co-chairs on?
I have 7.
7. So you have 7 different things out there. So really at any given time, one of them's got something going on, right? Some of it sounds like that's weekly, like the Bible study, etc. And then something like the philanthropy with the Mother's Day, there might not be something for a few more months, but it sounds like at any given time, there's an avenue if somebody wants to partake in something outside of production in your business, that there's an opportunity.
Yeah, we literally have 2 today. We have our team Bible study for women. And then tonight it's Fiesta in San Antonio. And our team is going down to an event called NIOSA here in San Antonio, now you know San Antonio. So we're going to that event tonight. So that's our events, inside the culture, being able to go out in the community. So we have 2 events today, just different parts of the 7 that we were talking about.
So you said you started that obviously to mimic the mega church and how that works and what that looks like. Did you start it because there was a deficit, or is this something that you always knew this is important to me to have these ancillary things into my business for culture? Was there a deficit or something that came up that brought this to your attention, or was it just kind of always there?
It was there. We just didn't have a system or a tool around it. Like we were already giving back. We were doing the backpack giveaways. We were doing events with like our client appreciation parties and business mixers. And majority of that was either me or Victoria, our director of operations, doing everything. And it was like, okay, we're doing this, we're doing it. And it was like, we're not giving the opportunity for the agents in our team to be able to have their say or their like fingerprints inside of it. So we sat down, we were like, okay, who was the strongest in each one of these categories that if we met with, they would love to be able to be a part of this or that. And it was like, okay, like Johnny Wellness, he's in the gym more than anybody I know. So I'm like, all right, so Johnny's going to be part of the wellness. You know, when we talked to him and he got excited about it. And before that, it was just more like, hey, we're going to go work out at this CrossFit gym once a week on Fridays at 8 o'clock in the morning. And it was more just us putting things together compared to having the agents excitement on top of it as well.
That's really cool. I like that. Now, from your agent standpoint, I just want to make a note for everybody on here so that you guys are all aware. Scott travels with an entourage at events, like an entourage. His team is there in force. And I don't mean an entourage like they follow him around. I mean, his team shows up. We see them together. We see them doing things. They attend classes together, right? They're very engaged together. It's the type of thing that every rainmaker says, man, I wish my team members were doing that. Does that mean that all 30 of his team members are there every time? No, but I'll tell you, he's got a good amount at pretty much every event. And I mean, I see them together going around, and they stop by the KW talent booth and they talk and they come to the classes. Like, they're there together learning and being productive and doing these things. This is not a, this is not just a dream he has. This is reality. And they show up this way. And it's really cool, right? It's really cool to see how your team shows up at the events and does things like that.
I appreciate that. And it is good to have them in those rooms too, because I feel as a leader, you go to these, let's say family reunion. You go to family reunion, you get there and you get inspired, and you come back and you tell your team what you saw, and it's
You
different.
swoop all over them and you dump
Yeah.
all the things you learned. Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's different when they're able to experience it. When they're able to walk in the room and they see, 20,000 people and they're like, what is this? And then they see, like say Jen Davis on stage when she was head by her agents. And it's like these opportunities come, and the opportunity to be able to have influence can come through being part of the team and being part of, showing up each and every day and being a servant leader and being a part of, the culture and playing all in with your coach, with your MAPS coach and everything else that we do. So it all aligns over time. Yet if I was just to keep them at home and keep them isolated, then they would not really be able to see and embrace the culture that KW has. So, we have the KW culture, and then we have a culture inside of the culture. And when we bring both of those together, I believe that's what keeps us so united with both the team and with KW.
Well, and when you look at it like that and you're like, well, we bring them to put them into the rooms. If you guys remember earlier when he was talking about his value web and the different tiers that he has, it's structured to get the things he wants to happen as well, right? He's rewarding with paying for the hotels for family reunion, paying for the hotel for mega camp, putting them into coaching, paying for bold, right? He's curating that culture through all of the different parts. It's not just this, hey, I dream of this. And to make a note on that as well, I want everyone to know Scott's in bold right now with his team.
Yeah, we're in bold. We have 16 agents in bold, and I'm taking bold as well with them. And a lot of times people are like, why do you still take bold? And for me, it's if it's not important to me, it's not going to be important to them. And as a leader, I need to be in those rooms and being able to see their breakthroughs and see when say their breakdowns and knowing what's going on with them. And then speaking the same language as them as well, because from there, if I know Bold is teaching on XYZ and because we're in a different group chat, the 16 people in there, I know I'm going in on, the day after, like checking in with them, even though they're broken up in their bowl groups, I'm still checking in with my team aside of that's involved and making sure they're doing their homework, making sure they're doing X, Y, Z, because that's one of the things that's important about, when you take classes, it's the action behind the classes. Because we can go and learn and learn and learn. And if we're not taking action with some type of accountability to be able to make sure that they're staying on track to be able to hit what they're looking to do, then we're not gonna, it was a waste of money. It was a waste of time. So we need to make sure we have something like a system in place after that.
I love it. Margaret, one of our KW talent members, asked in chat, she asked if you bring people part-time in or if you only have full-time folks in your organization.
Only full-time. We only take full-time people.
I'm going to ask, what is the reason behind that? So we have some context for that for everybody.
I don't believe for someone to hit the standards and part of our organization, part-time agent is something that is doable. And also I feel that real estate agents need to be full-time agents, because if you're working a buyer, and I get, we have a good sized team, so we have leverage, we have help. Yet if you're working a buyer and you're working from 5 to 9 p.m. on a Thursday, and there's a house they want to look at 6 p.m. on that Thursday, and you're like, hey, I can't show you today, I can show you tomorrow. And the reason you can't show is because you're at your other job. And then the next day you show and you look online or you look on the MLS and it's active option. It's like, well, you were at a disservice at that point because you weren't able to be a fiduciary and be the best option for your client because you were a part-time agent compared to a full-time agent can get it done. So that's one of the reasons we don't take part-time. And
Scott, we're down to our last 2 minutes and then we will wrap. So first, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for being here. I know Scott dropped a lot of really good info for you. We will put Scott's email, and if you guys would like to send him a referral to thank him for his time, in the Facebook post that'll accompany this, as well as in the email you will get with the recording. So please take note of that. That will be coming in your inbox once this recording processes. Scott, if you could leave everybody with just kind of the moral of the story, or the one thing you want them to take away from this 30 minutes they spent with us today, what would that thing be that you want to make sure they don't get off this Zoom without hearing?
Knowing your purpose, knowing why you're building a team, and not just building a team just to build a team. Lead with revenue, focus on your people, focus on what's important to them. And at the end of the day, just remember every person is different and every person has something going on. So understanding what's going on with your people, knowing when to have grace and when to be, accountable. So those are a lot of the big things with teams. Because I do feel a lot of times people have grace when it's not needed. And sometimes people are being overly accountable when grace is needed. So making sure you have discernment for that.
I love it. Thank you. Well, Scott, I look forward to our next interview, whenever that may happen, or a shared panel in the future. Everybody else, thank you for being here. We will send you all the recording. We will drop Scott's contact info in there for you as well. And if you are interested in understanding things like the pay structures and the value webs, the things that Scott was talking about on the tiers, May 15th, we have a 3-hour workshop virtual that we are hosting specifically on that. We will send you that link in your email as well as in the group chat. Scott, thank you again. I appreciate your time. Thank you for everybody else here, and we will see you on our next expert interview.
Thank you.